Strippers of Reddit, what really happens in a private/VIP dance? I worked in a club one summer a few years back. My favorite memory was the time a guy bought a full hour of my time, and at one point Wow by Post Malone came on while I was dancing for him in the VIP room. I always used to mouth along the words when my back was turned, cause I'm a sing while ya work kinda person. I heard the guy quietly singing along and turned around to face him. We ended up singing along to the song together, while I was dancing naked for him. I always think of that time whenever I hear that song now, lol. Depends on the girl. I once had a guy who wanted me to punch, slap and put my 6-inch heel in his balls. I tried but just couldn't do it. I said he needed a hug, but I went and found him this real mean girl so he could get what he wanted. Team player. I was a stripper in the past, and I once had a man spend 2 champagne half hours, $500/half, for me to tell him about myself, what my future plans were, etc. etc. Also had a different dude pay me $50 to sniff my armpits. Then paid me $50 more to go downstairs to the locker room, wipe off my deodorant, and let him smell them again. I was a bouncer at a strip club for a while, and had a regular come in that would pay a couple of the girls to pee in a cup so he could drink it. Which is gross enough, but whatever. The more messed up thing is that the girls would usually have one of her other regulars pee for her, and then pass it off as her own, so the poor bastard was drinking some random guy's piss instead, the flowery champagne that apparently came out of the girls. I know it's not technically worse, because piss is piss, but it just seems instinctually more nasty to drink dude piss. An older friend of mine paid for a private dance for me when I was just about to finish high school in Germany, just turned 19 at the time. The stripper was so pretty, it blew my young and inexperienced mind. When she took my hand and led me to the backstage room, she kept turning around, looking at me and giggling from time to time. I must have been like a deer in the headlights to her, and she enjoyed it, to say the least. I was the most harmless, innocent, and smitten little boy ever, and I could tell it boosted her confidence to no end. Rightfully so. Back then I had never seen a woman this pretty with that little clothes on. At least not in real life. The lap dance was pretty wild. She eventually finished me by sitting on my lap and grinding on me until it all went into my pants. She even continued after the music stopped because she wanted to ruin my night, I guess. Even grabbed my face and made me look at her until I came. Gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek afterwards and giggled like a schoolgirl when I left. Spent 10 minutes in the bathroom cleaning myself and then went home blushing all the way back. Worth it though. Edit, sorry people, apparently I double posted by accident. EDIT2, thanks for the awards. I was about 19, my buddy and I went to a local club to hang out and watch pretty naked girls dance. One girl really caught my eye, she noticed and offered to take me to VIP. Once back there we chatted the whole time. She was really sweet and we totally hit it off. As our time was finishing up, she asked me if I would consider being her personal bodyguard for some parties. Of course I said yes. We went to one in particular, a group of volunteer firefighters, and she made great money. I got paid 10%. While I was there, the guys convinced me to go to EMT school. I made enough money that night to enroll in the next class and spent the next 15 years working as an EMT. Edit, wow. Did not expect this to blow up. Thank you for all the awards, upvotes, and comments. So just to follow up, I lost contact with the dancer shortly after that. She made some really good money that night and may very well have made a career change herself. I'm not even sure I ever got her real name. I mentioned in the comments, if you know a woman, she'd be in her 50s now, that used to work at Deja Vu in Federal Way, who worked a firefighter party with a guy she met at work as her bodyguard, please tell her thank you for me and I think about her often. Most of the time private dances are just stripping down until you're naked and grinding on their junk. Some guys fixate on a certain body part and want to see that mostly. Motorboating was a big hit, lol. Like some guys like boobs, booties, or feet. It's honestly whatever the customer wants and the dancer is willing to do. Of course there are club rules that need to be followed. I was a dancer about 10 years ago and for the most part I enjoyed it. A guy once paid me $100 to kick him as hard as I could in his balls. Another guy paid me $100 to sniff a line of coke off my ass. Another guy liked when I did circles with my finger around his nipples and paid $1,000 over 6 months to do so. Another guy paid me $50 to smell my feet and to put them on his face. These are examples off the top of my head, there are many more I'm forgetting. My roommate, who was a stripper, used to have a regular who just wanted her to grind her high heels into his junk. According to her, private dances run from not much happens to sex. Depends on the bar, depends on the dancer. She, herself, mostly had regular customers who came in to have somebody to hang out with. Basically, she sat half-dressed or naked, and just chatted. She still came home outraged a lot of the time because somebody had offered her a few $100 for sex of some sort. Some of her friends, if the offer was enough, would go further. I don't get the strippers for companionship thing, but maybe I'm lucky. Went to a crappy strip club once with some buddies. There was a guy in a cowboy hat about 65 or so with a skinny undernourished little bat-faced girl in a bikini sitting next to him. She sat there next to him for over a couple hours, neither of them talking. Right at the side of the stage, and the guy watched the other strippers. Every 10 minutes or so he would reach into his pocket and give the girl a $100 bill. Didn't even make eye contact with her when he pulled it out and leaned it in her direction. Hardly made eye contact with her the whole time. Not trying to diss the girl on her looks, but she was not the best looking girl in the place by far. He never tipped the dancers and paid for his drink with a 20 and didn't receive any change. My buddy decided to try to get the girl away from the guy so we could ask her what was up, but when he approached the girl she shook her head and looked down. The guy handed her another $100 and waved over the bouncers that told us to not approach the guy or the girl again. All he would say is the guy was a regular. Years later I read a story about some dude who won a lottery and used to go to strip clubs with $100,000 in his trunk, and he looked just like this guy. The story was about how some old guy lost his entire lottery payout to buying out/divorcing his wife and visiting strip clubs.